For myself and my story, serving has just kind of always been a part of who I was. From the family that I came from, my grandfather was a preacher in the Lutheran church for a long time, all of his life. My mom's mom, my grandma, was a elementary school teacher. And I would hear stories of them, and people would always come up to me in their hometown about how much they did beyond the actual job description of loving and serving. And that got passed down to my parents. My dad has been in the school district all of my life, all of his career. And just to see how he has loved and served people as the hands and feet of Jesus, even in a public school, and just to see the creativity out of that. And my mom has been a middle school guidance counselor. In 2026, that is one of the most crazy and hectic jobs you can have. And just to hear the stories that she has, and to see how she's remained faithful in her faith through it all, and serving the kids beyond just, oh, I want you to get an A in this class, but no, how do we achieve the goals that you've set for yourself? And she has led different projects, such as things like, we call it Team Lead back home, where it's getting the kids involved in service, even as a 6th or 7th grader, 8th grade, going and serving in projects around the community and just continuing to see what little impact you can have that will become a big impact. I got to Toledo because I felt like God led me there. I'll be honest, that was not really the place I wanted to go out of high school. I felt like God was calling me to ministry, and I wanted to go to a Bible college, a place where I felt was better for my call. But at the end of the day, I just didn't feel like God was calling me there. So I was committed to Toledo. I stuck with Toledo, and then I early enrolled in January of 2024 as a 17-year-old freshman, just 2 weeks out of high school, getting thrown into the college football world. It was crazy. And then about a year later, after getting my feet like stuck in Toledo and just understanding like this place has a lot to offer and a lot of people I can help and serve. One was a former leader and pastor of my church who actually at one point lived at Cherry Street. And then in about probably June or July of 2024, I felt like God just asked me to serve his people. I had no idea what that meant, but then I had a class with a professor named Todd Crail at University of Toledo. And I was like, Todd, I want to help people. I just don't know how. And he pulled up the Cherry Street website. And this is at a public Toledo university. And it was just a place where I was like, all right, God, you're leading me here. So just the unknowingness of how, if I was ever going to actually go to college to Toledo, to having different people in the from a Christian church perspective say, hey, this is an amazing place, and then to have a professor at a public university, it was like a no-brainer that this was somewhere God was leading me. There are many days that Cherry Street is the highlight of my day, and it's because it's such an amazing place. It's amazing to serve with people. And it's amazing to serve with really good volunteers and chefs, but it's amazing to serve really good people who are just at this place and wherever they're at in their life. If they've been here for a long time, or if they've been there, it's their first day and first meal. It's an amazing place. So sometimes I'm sad that I don't get to come as often as I wish. But outside of it, I love to be as a student athlete. I love to work out. I love to train and stuff like that. I love to push myself as a football player because football is the reason I'm in Toledo. It's the reason that I stay in Toledo right now. But then I love to serve at church. I love to be around people in a community where I can continue to grow in my faith, grow in the fruit of the Spirit, and grow in different things. I don't want to just be a football player. I don't want to just be a student athlete. Yes, I do my homework, but I want to be somebody who is being who God's called them to be, but in a holistic standpoint. The national recognition I've received this past year has been an absolute blessing. And I was in Atlanta, Georgia, celebrating the Werfel Trophy, the award that celebrates the collegiate football player that shows the most dedication to community service, helping other people, and play on the field. And just to be at an event like that with former winners, to hear how they have served God and put their yes on the line for Jesus was an absolute blessing. So from the field standpoint, it's something that I want to take seriously because it is an honor. It is something that I feel like the Lord has given me this platform. And I don't want to say Matt Hofer came to Cherry Street. It was God calling Matt Hofer to Cherry Street. It was God calling Matt Hofer to these places. So I can't take any of the credit. I just said yes. And it's been humbling. And I want to bring other teammates along with me. Because in the Bible, we see with Daniel, in the book of Daniel changing a culture for God and living how God had called him to be. But the truly special part was when the culture changed, not just for Daniel, but for other people along with him. So I want to bring my teammates along. I want to bring my coaches along with me. So it's a challenge now. I have 3 years left of college. So what can this continue to look like? How can we continue to serve people, not just in one place, but all throughout our mission fields, because we're all called on mission. And then from a community service standpoint, it's been humbling, but I'll be honest, it's been a little tough, because the world wants to say, let's continue to chase awards, let's continue to chase stuff, and continue. But I don't want to chase an award. I want to chase who God's called me to be. And the enemy wants to put in the word of, if you don't do this, then you're not worthy. And I tell everybody, if you can only do 1 hour of community service a month, that 1 hour of community service is exactly who God's called you to be. If you can do 100 hours, do 100 hours. Whatever you can do, just do it, because through it all, that's who I feel God has called us all to be, because we can all give something. So it's been a remembrance of, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this because I want to love God and I want to love people like I love God. I think one of the greatest things that I've experienced at Cherry Street is the mission to not just be a place that serves people from a food standpoint, but the love of Christ that overflows through people. So I know I've been prayed for by the staff here. I've had people reach out to me and saying, hey, we're praying for you, or hey, how are you? Like, that's been so key, because I'm not at home. I'm in Toledo. My home's 3 hours away. So to feel a family here has been something that has helped me so much in my just walk this past year and stuff like that. So I can't think of a specific moment, but I can just remember those moments. But then favorite moment, and I know a lot of people will say this, was Thanksgiving. I was the person that was on video of Cherry Street jumping on a dumpster and stuff like that. But that was my highlight of the day, and it was just because there's such a great family aspect here. Of over the course of time, you learn names, you learn stories, you get to. I remember I think it was last week, I talked to one person in the dinner line, and they said they got a job interview tomorrow. And I just celebrated them. I wanted to high five them, and I told them I was praying for them. Probably three or four people later, someone was like, I got my hours cut back. And I got to just mourn with them and be there for them, because I can't save them and help them know Christ. And I can't give them this new job, but I can the ministry of presence. So just those moments, and then just the continuous, just every time I get to come, there's something that just makes me smile, and there's something that I just can see God working through. And it's evident by the people here that God's just continuing to work and move in such a way that I want a piece of the pie. I want to be a part of this, because how Cherry Street has become not just, like I said, a place of meals, but a place for people to get classes, a place for people to get their lives back. And some of them have had these heartbreaking stories where it wasn't their fault. So I just want to love on them. One of the things that I've found that is one of the coolest things to see, and one of the things that breaks my heart, is sometimes how much young adults, the younger generations, serve and don't serve. We see our parents pick up almost the slack sometimes. We see the older generations and the people who've been around sometimes serve more, and we kind of just place it off to them. And I think that is sometimes an excuse. We're like, someone else is doing the job, but there's going to come a time when we need to step up. And as something I truly believe is, if you can only serve 1 hour, that 1 hour can be used in such a great way that maybe you'll realize it can become 2 hours or 3 hours. I know for myself with Cherry Street, I didn't come in thinking, I was going to serve a bunch. I was just going to serve 1 hour, maybe a month or something. But then throughout my process here, it was once a month came to wanting to serve once a week. Once a week wanted to become a couple times a week. A couple times a week came, all right, how often can I be here? And how often can I, because this place is awesome. So whether it's Cherry Street or something else, because there are a lot of other places out there that need our love and support and our help. So for the younger adults, just know you bring something that not a lot of people can sometimes bring. There's people like, oh, you have this youthfulness. I'm like, I'm a kid at heart. College students can bring such joy to the world. I know if you've ever stopped by a nursing home or seen older people, when college kids or Boy Scouts or football teams or basketball teams or whatever the organization is, when you go and visit people, they love just to see us because we do have a little bit more spark in our boots sometimes. And don't get me wrong, there are some people that are a little bit older than myself that have much more joy and so much energy that it's contagious. But as young adults, I think we just need to step up to that challenge of, we've seen so many good people before us serve. How are we going to serve, and what little steps can it look like? Because I understand some of us are in college, some of us are working on top of college, some of us are working a full-time job right now. But there's going to come a time that we really do need to serve, because this world needs everybody for whatever your specific passion can be. One of the things I love most about serving here and coming here is it doesn't always feel like service. It's a community. One of my favorite volunteers to serve with, his name is Ray. He is here so much and so often. I couldn't be here today without mentioning him, because he helps so many people serve well. And one thing he always gets on me about is I'm supposed to have 5 words per person in the line when serving food, because it's a line, we gotta keep people moving. That's never ever actually 5 words. I love being able to talk to people. I love to talk sports with people. I love to talk about life with people. So some people call it community service. I call it just community, because it's a community. It's no different than I'm talking to my teammate in the locker room. It's no different than I'm talking to my friend at church. We're just talking about life, and they'll ask me about the Toledo football games, and when we lose, it's rough, because I'll get 20 questions about what happened, but when we'll win, they'll be like, hey, I saw you had a great game. And the same is with the Bears and I'm a Packers fan, so there's a bunch of Lions fans around here, so we're talking a lot of trash this year on Thanksgiving about the Lions and Packers game. But then there's a lot of Cleveland fans in here, and they sure let me know when their Browns beat my Packers. And it's a community. So I love being with people who are so kind and genuine. And I just hope that I can reciprocate that back to them, that their kindness and genuineness. I truly don't have words to describe the impact this place has had on me. And at times I feel guilty, because I feel like I'm receiving more than I'm trying to give, because the love here is so genuine. The people here, the mission here, it's just something that is crazy, and it's the reason that I want to advocate for people serving, because you don't know what's out there until you really put yourself out there. Cherry Street Mission is, I think, 4 miles from the University of Toledo campus, but it took me 12 months to get here. It was something that I'd heard about for a couple months beforehand, but didn't really think about. And this has been a place that has, like I said, it's become sometimes the best part of my day, just because the love that's here. You can feel the God moving through here. You can feel the Holy Spirit working through here. There's rarely a time I walk out not feeling encouraged, because I know that God's moving in a way, whether it's with a volunteer. I know there's been volunteers that I've celebrated them getting a new promotion or job with, or them having this exciting moment in their life. And there's been some guests here that I've celebrated saying, they're like, tomorrow's my last day. And I was like, I'm so happy for you. And I feel like I just get to be a little piece of that. And I'm okay with that, because I know God's working in their life way more than I am. I know that the people who are on staff here are working tirelessly to help these people in such a way. So to see the impact, words can't describe. I want to just help so much here because of the way and the impact it's had on myself. Cherry Street means and has meant to me a little place of hope in an amazing city, in an amazing community that has continued to be the hands and feet of Jesus with guests, with its volunteers, and with its staff. And it's been such an amazing place that I can't wait to see the future of it, because I know it's going to continue to grow and help so many people, that I'm just so thankful that I get to be a part of it here today. So for myself, the areas I've served at Cherry Street have mainly been in the meal prep and in the service of meals. And that's been an amazing place for me. But there are so many other places in Cherry Street that you can serve. I know there's library aides if you want to work in the library. If you want to be a bus driver, a minibus driver, you can serve in that aspect. Cherry Street has groups that can come and find a project, or you can work in the donation warehouse. What I have loved about Cherry Street is to see how versatile you can use the gifts that God has given you to glorify Him and love His people. So don't just think, oh, I'm too scared to go and serve a meal. Maybe you can serve in another place that is even more suited to the gifts that God has given you.